Hi, Steven.
Hey!
How are you?
I am doing phenomenally well.
I am so happy to be here. This is my first BGG.CON.
I can't believe you guys have never been here before. That's like ridiculous. Like why? Why? You gotta come here. This is the single, seriously, the single best con of the year. For a number of reasons. Number one, it's the most relaxed, it's the most social. You just chill out, drink some beer, play some great games. It also happens to be the last convention of the year for me too. So I really enjoy myself here. And this is like really my core demographic, right? I mean, this is the alpha gamer. They're traveling to Dallas, Texas, like in the middle of nowhere really, essentially, to come and hang out with a great game library and get all the hottest releases directly out of Essen. And Stronghold Games has had 7 new releases in the last couple of weeks. Some of them not even released yet. Several of them not even released yet. So it's been a big quarter for us.
That's very cool.
Yeah,
7's
really.
a lot.
7's a lot. It's like crazy a lot. It's like crazy.
So, did Josh tell you a little bit about what we do?
No. What do you do?
We have rule number 3 on here, which is it's always Josh's fault, so it doesn't surprise me.
I always have rule number 1.
Yeah.
Steven's always right. Rule number 2.
Rule number
check
1.
Rule number 1. You know it.
I know it.
So, but okay, and Josh is always wrong.
And that's rule 3, so it fits for your rule 1 and 2.
Boom, boom, boom. But where does Anne and Nicole stand in the whole thing?
Well, Anne's always right.
Okay, can we both be right?
I mean, I guess we can.
All right.
We seem to agree. We got
a thing going on here.
That works.
Yeah, it's good. I'll try not to be too creepy. I'm only a little creepy, really.
This is so good.
This is
the best. So, are you familiar with what Twitch is?
Come on, I'm not that old.
I mean,
yeah, I'm old, but I know what
ask.
Twitch is.
I gotta ask.
Come on, whatever.
I'm listening to the delay, I can't hear you. So you can insult me, it's going to take me about 20 seconds.
To respond?
Yeah.
Not insulting you, I promise.
So, we don't work for Twitch, but we are Twitch streamers. So we have a channel on Twitch.
Yup.
And our whole thing is that we like having interactivity with chat. We like to have them play board games with us. Our thing is come play with us.
Okay.
So Nicole is, her nickname is TP for Twitch Proxy.
Okay.
Our viewers come into the chat room and they control a player through her. So they'll tell her, do this, take this turn, do this action, what have you.
How old is your channel? I mean, how adult is your channel? How adult can I go here?
So
keep
sometimes
it PG.
We're the PG. There's
PG?
we don't have a mature setting up.
All right. I'm not gonna go to where my mind went. We'll not go there. That would be.
Don't worry.
She'll catch up on this in a second.
In about 30 seconds. Yeah. Don't worry. The rest of the chat already is back there.
They already figured it out.
Yeah. So we kind of take that same philosophy to the cons.
Cool.
So our audience, some of them don't get to come out to BGG because some of them are international, quite frankly. Some people, they just don't have the opportunity to come out to a con. So there's the delay.
She got it about a minute later. She got it.
There's the delay. Some people are interested in BGG.CON, but maybe they're not ready to make the commitment, whatever. So we like to kind of be their proxy. Come out here, get to talk to some insiders, get to check out some new games.
Yep.
Have them ask questions, all that fun stuff. So
good.
Let's start with...
Not being creepy.
Only kind of... Oh, well, that's cool. It's on my shirt, so it's not creepy.
It's on there. It's not creepy. Go ahead. You keep talking. So what's the first thing?
So why don't we start by talking a little bit about you?
About Stephen Bonacore.
About Stephen Bonacore.
All right.
Can I let you know you must be Italian?
No.
The name
really?
Okay.
Yes. Buonacore in Italian. How do you know that? I mean, are you Italian? Oh, Osito. Very nice.
Yes.
You know where you are from? Like
Bari?
Bari. Very nice. Positano, which is south of Naples.
Okay.
Yeah, on the Amalfi Coast. Beautiful area. But I mean, that's 2.5 generations ago. So.
My girlfriend, who is from Italy, tells me I'm 3 boats off.
Very good, very good.
But I still know where Sunday dinner gets cooked. So I feel like that's all that really matters, right?
That's it. That's absolutely right.
There we go. So, Stephen, how did you get into board games?
Well, I've been a gamer forever. I mean, literally forever, since I was a child, playing and growing up with all of the usual family-style games, of course. And then just continued. And I grew up during the revolution of the PC, right? Like, I'm a little older, like we mentioned that before. So, early on the PC, so I get into PC gaming and stuff. Got into collectible card games for a while. Went into MMOs, role-playing, LARPing. I did it. I'm a geek through and through. But in the end, after I got into like the 90s and the Euro game revolution was hitting and they were coming over to America, I just realized that really where I wanted to be as a gamer was in tabletop gaming. Why? Because I'm a social guy, as you can probably tell. Very gregarious.
Very quiet and shy,
quiet, shy. I
reserved.
never want to be on podcasts or anything. I have a face for radio, though, so this is not really like, not as beautiful as you ladies are. So
That was smooth.
Smooth. So, but I really wanted, this is the kind of gaming that I want to do, because why? Because what we do is we get together around a table. We don't sit there with our technology and do this, hopefully. We're not on a computer and stuff. We're all there experiencing something together. And that, to me, is the greatest thing about tabletop gaming. The fact that we have an experience together. Now, whether that's a cerebral one, like with the heavy Euros, we're all kind of trying to optimize the puzzle, or it's American style, throw dice, beat the hell out of each other, like dragon and flagon, where you're like in a barroom brawl. So no matter what your style of game is, we got something here, and it's kind of just the experience that I wanted for myself.
Very cool. So where did Stronghold Games start?
Well, it started 7 years ago in Atlantic City, New Jersey, over gambling and beer, and we decided that it was a good idea to start a game company. I was following the industry at the time, as it was growing, and I was seeing smaller companies pop up. I have a very big business background. I've been on Wall Street in IT for 35 years.
Okay.
And so I have this and an educational background in business. So I had all of this knowledge, and I said to myself, why don't I try to bring my passion for what I love to do and put a business discipline around it? And there, Stronghold Games sprung up and has grown, very, very rapidly over time. And so now I like to think that I'm sort of a major brand, a major force in the industry. Still a small company, it's still just me. And of course I farm out the artwork and the game designs. I'm not a designer. I always say I'm not smart enough to be a designer, but I'm smart enough to know what a great design is. So we bring them in, we develop them, or I create partnerships with people across the seas, in Europe especially, sometimes in Asia, to bring their games across the world.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So what would you say was like your flagship, your first game, the one that really made you feel like I'm a real company?
Yeah, that would, without a doubt. We had Code 777 and Confusion, but then when Survive came out, Survive Escape from Atlantis, that was the game that really put us on the map, and it has continued to sell more copies year over year. In this industry, that's like unheard of. In this industry, for the most part, you have this curve where, like, you get that big first month, and then second month, and then usually it just peters out. But with Survive, it's a great game for families. You can play with your kids, you can play with your grandmother, and you can play with your buddies over beer and pretzels and trash talk. It just reaches all audiences. When that game came out, we realized that, okay, we can do this. We can bring these kind of great games out to gamers, whether we're doing a reprint like Survive. That was a reprint of an older game that Hasbro had.
Okay.
They dropped it because they weren't producing 1 million copies a month. I'm happy to only sell 1,000 or so copies a month. So we picked up the license and we started making it, and it's been going great for us ever since. And then we started bringing in new designs. Core Worlds was our first brand new, like from the ground up, with Andrew Parks. Jeff Engelstein now, we brought him in as a designer for us, and he's doing designs for us every year basically now. So it's been a great run, and we're continuing to grow and grow each year.
What is your newest game that you're most excited about?
Well,
I know they're all your babies.
They are. It's like, what's your favorite kid? You have children?
I do, too.
Do you? Really?
Yeah.
Does she have children?
No.
Really? How you doing? She'll hear that in about 30 seconds.
Yes.
Anyway.
That's when you get the look.
Yeah, then they'll be what?
Delay is fun.
Anyway, well, the really, really big hotness right here that has been killing it on board gaming is Terraforming Mars.
Okay.
Terraforming Mars, I brought in 70 copies. Did she hear it yet? There she goes.
There it is.
I brought in 70 copies for the show, and that's like all the copies I had. I saved them in the warehouse just for the show. I had sold out even before it was on the street. I cut off my website sales because I wanted to bring copies in here for the gamers. Sold out in 14 minutes.
Oh, wow.
It was like Gen.CON level of insanity here this morning. I don't know if you guys saw what was going on, but this aisle, the camera can probably see it, this aisle was completely mobbed with people almost from the entrance to here, and we couldn't take the cash fast enough.
That must be such an exhilarating experience.
I was literally sweating. I mean, I'm sweating now because of the beautiful women around me right now. I'm getting the vapors. But it was wild. And whenever you have that opening for any show, you get that kind of thing. Because if you have new product that's really hot, you kind of get that. But this was as big a initial rush as we got at Gen.CON. And Gen.CON's a 65,000 person show. This is a 2,500 person show. That sold out in 14 minutes. Great Western Trail is a heavy Euro game, really deep and meaty. Again, this is the target audience for that. It's not out yet, and they rushed in. I sold 60 copies of that. We were sold out of that in 25 minutes. So, I mean, those are the biggies that you know, we're kind of touting now and really excited about. But we have 7 new games. Fabled Fruit is a really great family weight game that changes over time. It's a new branding.
We were talking with Flat Hat Games, and I was asking him about what his favorite experience so far at BGG.CON has been.
Really?
Yes.
And he said Fabled Fruit?
He
That's
said
cool.
playing Fabled Fruit was his absolute favorite so far this year at BGG.CON.
That is really, really cool.
I thought that was really
They're my
great.
buddies, too. They're always nice to me. We're good friends.
I told him then that was probably one of my favorite moments because it really drove home that this is all about community. That it's so cool that he's got his own games and he could say whatever he wanted about his own games, but he was being honest and real and honest to the community and saying, I really like this game that's coming out, Fabled Fruit.
And that's a good point to make. Like, I'm friends with like every company here. Without a doubt, we all know each other. The presidents of the companies know each other. If the presidents aren't here, I know the demo staff that are here, and we all hang out and we talk and we help each other. Sometimes they'll even get a game into their studio, and they're like, you know, this isn't really for us. Stronghold would be really good. And I've got games pitched to me that came from other companies, and we pick up games like that. So it really is a sense of community on every level. We're competitors. Well, we are the definition of friendly competitors.
Yeah.
This morning, during that crazy mad rush, I was in Mayfair's booth. I was like in their booth. It was so crazy that I was against their tables, and I'm like,
so sorry.
Alex, I'm sorry. He goes, don't worry. No one's taking demos until this all calms down anyway, so don't worry, just hang out. People were putting stuff on their tables. I felt so bad, but he was like, don't worry. It's all good, yeah. And we hang out at night. We have beers together, so it's just a great time.
It's great to work in an industry like that where you've got your friends, where it's happy. You're doing something you really enjoy.
It is.
You have friends.
I'm literally friends with everybody here. I see them in the bar. Or we see them gaming. It's always like, hey, how's it going? Let's go have a beer. Let's go play a game together. So it's a good time. Yeah.
So tell me, now that we've already gotten on the topic a little bit of Fabled Fruit, can you tell me a little bit about it?
Yeah, Fabled Fruit. Let me grab it so I can boom, boom, boom. Cute, pretty artwork. In fact. Fabled Fruit is a new experience in gaming. We're calling it a Fable game. Are you familiar with legacy games, right?
A little bit, yeah.
A legacy game is a game that will change over time, but it's destructive change. In other words, like Pandemic Legacy or Risk Legacy or Seafall, you literally will be ripping up parts of the game or stickering them or writing things on stuff. So you're playing the game, and at the end of the entire experience, maybe it's 20 plays or whatever it is, you have a artifact of gaming, something that you played with your friends all that time, and you can remember it for years. But you basically don't play the game after that. It's gone. It's over. You leave it on your shelf. Done.
Okay.
A new thing in gaming. This is called a Fable game, where you have the experience that the gameplay is going to change over time, and it will, but it never changes permanently. So you're telling a little Fable story. There are locations in the game. There's always going to be at least 6 different locations on the board.
Okay.
And in the deck, there are over 50 of them. So you start out with these 6, and as cards are picked, new locations show up. Not only do new locations show up, new components will be used based on what the card does. Basically, you're moving you're playing a forest animal. You're playing a penguin or a turtle or a.
When's the last time you saw a penguin in a forest?
Well, there are penguins in there. I know, whatever. Okay, jungles, forest, Antarctica. Okay, whatever you want. You're moving them around. You're taking actions. You're trying to get fruits to then make juices, and then you can get 4 juices, I think, depending on the number of players, to win the game.
So a set match game.
It is resource management and action selection, and you're trying to optimize doing that. But all of these 6 things, and there's 4 of each one of them, when they're done, you're going to be bringing out more and more of these locations, and the game is going to change. After, say, the 6th play of the game, these are going to be completely gone, and it's going to be all new actions that you've never experienced before that'll be on the board.
So it keeps you engaged,
Absolutely.
Keeps you going.
You'll be able to do that 22 to 24 times. We ran some simulations on that.
Okay.
And so you've played the everything in there, and then you can reset from the beginning, the middle. You can take out actions maybe you didn't like. any piece of that, you can do it. So that differentiates it from a legacy game. The fact that it's never permanently changed, but the system will change over time. You can play this forever.
That's very cool. Who designed that game?
It's green. Therefore, it must be Freedom and Freeze. I don't know if you know who that is. He's one of the great designers in the world. He has got green hair. All of his games start with an F. So Fabled Fruit and Fuji Flush are his two games that we've done. We do all of his new games now. He's truly one of the great designers. He's been around for a while. Power Grid, which actually in German is Fugenschlag. It has an F. In English, it didn't translate with an F in it. His games have been renowned ever since then, and he's always been respected. So we now have a strategic partnership with his company, 2F Spiele, and we have his games, and they're always in green. All of his boxes are in green, and they always have an F in the title.
That's very cute.
Yeah.
That's cute for a designer to kind of put his stamp on the game in the artwork.
That's
like
his brand.
Right off the box.
Anybody who's seen him, it's like green-haired, crazy guy.
Now I'm gonna have to Google pictures.
Oh, absolutely. You'll see. As soon as you see him, you'll be like, that's the nut. And he looks like a mad scientist. That's exactly. But he's a genius of game design. Last year we did 504 with him. That game was so radical. It has 504 unique games in a single box.
Really?
It's 9 modules. You select any 3 of them, and you play the game. So you'll be playing maybe a resource management game with a road building with a shares component. And there's 504 different combinations of 9 modules. 9 times 8 times 7 is 504. And amazingly, that has 2 F's in it, 504. But that's
of course it does.
That's serendipitous that actually happened. But it was just a brilliant way. And he almost open the kimono on game design. Like this is how, if you're a game designer, look at what I did here. Look at how I integrated these modules.
Okay.
So it's almost like required reading for any game designer.
It's kind of, if you're going to be a game designer, if you want to step up your next level, here's my textbook.
This is a textbook on how to integrate mechanics together. And I know many game designers have bought the game simply to see how he did that, and it really is amazing. So that was our last year huge Essen release. This year we have several huge Essen releases.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
Do you have any other games that you really want to kind of grab? And I hate asking you for your favorite kids.
I know, my favorite kids. What can I talk?
I know. There we go.
We're going to grab these 2 right now.
Okay.
And why do I grab these 2? They're both by Jeff Engelstein.
Awesome.
The Dragon and Flagon is by Jeff Engelstein and his family. In the past, he's always designed with his kids. By the way, his kids are now 20 and 22, so they're not adults.
Kids,
yeah, but they've been doing it for 10 years, and they're integral in the game design. So it's Brian Sidney and Jeff Engelstein, and they did the Dragon and Flagon. This actually is an August release, so it's actually been out a little while.
Okay.
But it is a barroom brawl with fantasy characters. So you're playing the paladin, the mage, the barbarian, the thief, and all that, and you literally have a tavern with 3D tables,
That's
3D wooden chairs, mugs, rugs, and everything on there you can move. You can pull the rug out from somebody. You can flip the table. You can you can hit them over the head with a chair. You can throw a mug at them. And you're trying to become the most renowned at the Dragon and Flagon Tavern.
Okay.
And that's the concept of the game. You're stealing people's reputation to become the most reputable person there, the most renowned, most reputation. So that was a really great game. This is probably my favorite game in my current lineup. It shows off so well on the table and plays 2 to 8 players. So great range of player count.
Yeah. That was very cool.
And the reason I grabbed Fog of War, because this is Jeff Engelstein's first solo design.
Right off the bat, the most interesting thing I see is just the complete different kind of art style.
Different kind of art style and very different games. One of the things Stronghold games has strived to do over time is never be pigeonholed. Oh, they do that kind of game. There's a lot of companies that they specialize in a kind of game, and that's what they do. And that's cool. But really what I wanted to do from the beginning is I wanted every gamer to say, well, I like heavy Euros. What's Stronghold doing in that line? I like light card games. What's Stronghold doing?
Right.
And that to me is a great, for what I wanted to do, it's a great way to brand the company and to keep things moving so that you always have something coming out for somebody. And that's what we've done. We've done the smallest, lightest card games, like Fuji Flush that I mentioned a little while ago, $15 small, just a deck of cards, up to the biggest games like 504. It's a $100 game. and Space Cadets away missions with 100 plastic miniatures in the game. They're about 100. They're really big games, to the smallest games, just to be somebody for everyone. And just to quickly mention, Fog of War, Jeff Engelstein, World War II war game. My first war game. It's like the only part of the market I wasn't in was war games.
Okay.
My first war game, but it's a very different take. This has been done 200 times. European theater, war game, many, many, many times. Jeff took a whole nother look at this game. You're looking at it at a grand strategic level where you're planning operations and trying to use intelligence against your opponent to either bluff them away from where you're going to be going or to find out what they're doing in their operations. So it's the Axis versus the Allies on a European map with this really cool thing called the operation wheel, where you plan your operations and you're moving this around, and then you can launch the operation, which may be successful or not, depending on if your opponent was able to find out enough information about what you were doing.
That is, just from the back, you can tell just how big of a game.
There's a lot of game in that game.
How big of it is.
Lots and lots of cards. The intelligence tokens and the operations wheel are the driving force in the game. Jeff is another genius of game design. He's much younger in the industry. I mean, Friedman's been designing games for 20 years. Jeff's been designing games for 5 years, mostly with Stronghold, which is a real privilege. But he's a real student and has learned a lot from his previous people who've designed games. And this is a really great take on a 2-player war game, The Fog of War.
Very cool.
There's a lot going on here.
It is a lot.
Whatever he says is a lie.
My fans are here. My fans.
Good to see you.
Thanks, man.
You're very well loved.
I'm loved. I am loved. I'm gonna go pin this on Nicole later when we finish here. Because now that she's gonna be having my children, that I think I mentioned, right? Is that her boy? Is Josh her boyfriend?
Husband.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, I'm gonna be nice to both of you now. All right.
We have a fun story.
Okay.
That I feel now is very
in the non-creepy way.
The non-creepy way. I feel is very appropriate to tell in this moment.
Oh, probably story. Okay.
We went to Treasure Coast Comic-Con. And Josh and I were streaming. We had a booth, and we'd have game designers, developers. They came up to the booth. They were showing us their games. It was a lot of fun. So we had 2 guys bring up their game, and we're playing the game with them. And one of the guys turns to me. He says, "So that girl over there, her name was Nicole, right?"
Oh, come on! I hear the story. This is gonna be good.
Oh yeah, on air all over again.
On air all over again.
I said, "Oh, I was looking away," and I said, "Oh, my name's Ann. Her name's Nicole." He goes, "Do you think you could?" To him, says, "Do you think you could get him out?
That's always great.
Set my friend up on a date with her?"
Let me think about that. Since I'm her husband, probably not a good idea.
He felt so bad.
I know. What are you gonna do, right?
He's mortified.
I don't feel bad about flirting, though. I'm sorry. Because I do this with everyone. I'll do with this guy over here. I don't care.
Equal opportunity. Piece my ears.
Sorry, those out there. It wasn't our fault. See, we're here.
See it, Nicole. However,
that was Nicole and Josh. Yeah, that was them.
Yeah. Maybe you should have done the interview and stood over here.
Okay, are we done? We can keep talking forever because I can go on forever.
I do want to.
Is your husband
talk forever?
No,
he's in Florida.
Don't even ask.
It's cool.
I don't even know. It's a joke. I'm not lecherous. I'm not creepy. I'm just old. I'm only a little creepy, but I'm a nice guy.
But here's the thing. I was promised In-N-Out Burger.
You're what?
I was promised In-N-Out Burger.
You were promised In-N-Out Burger.
I've never had it before.
That's like is that a Texas thing? I don't know. We don't
it's
have
like
that in New Jersey.
No, we don't have them in Florida either. I'm from
I've heard
upstate
of
New
it.
York.
Oh, are you? Really?
Yeah.
Where?
Yeah, Poughkeepsie.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's close to New York City. I was born and raised in New York City.
Yeah.
And I live in New Jersey now. And I'm headed to Florida.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's a typical path for most people.
All Italians and Jews from the Northeast end up in Florida.
South Florida, right?
I'm going with my people. That's right. I'm going to visit my people in Florida. I'm planning within the next year or so.
Are you?
Yeah. Probably.
That means we're gonna have to keep in touch.
Absolutely. Where I'm gonna probably be in the West. Delray Beach area. I fell in love.
That's very nearby us.
I fell in love with Delray. I mean, it's so that like Atlantic Avenue thing is like the coolest. Like right on Atlantic.
On the beach.
She's like on the beach, like 2 blocks.
How's your mom do? How's your mom do?
She's single.
There we go.
See, all you have to do is keep on asking. That's a salesman, right? It's a numbers game. Eventually, you're gonna get a yes.
That's awesome. I really look creepy now, sorry.
Steven, is there anything you want to make sure that our viewers know before?
Well, just, watch what Stronghold Games is doing. We're very big on Twitter, so at Stronghold Games on Twitter, / Stronghold Games on Facebook. Sign up for our newsletter at StrongholdGames.com. A little newsletter sign up there. And and Board Games Insider Podcast. That's my podcast.
Oh, yeah?
With Ignacy Chevyshek, the president of Portal Games, and Stephen Bonagor, the president of Stronghold Games. And we do a half-hour podcast. It's bi-weekly, but we actually give content every week. It's 30 minutes, and we go in and out. We do the news, what's happening in the industry, and our commentary on it, how the industry works, sort of the inside of the industry, and like how you can get into it, and then like what's happening at the company. So it's a 30 minutes in and out from the insiders of the industry. So it's really good. BoardGamesInsider.com, available on iTunes and all those great places too.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Do we have any questions from chat?
Oh. Why is Steven such a lecherous jerk? Steven is ugly. Why?
Ask him how much fun it is hanging with Dan Patrice.
Dan Patrice is awesome. Yeah, Patrice. Dan Patrice and I are good friends. I don't get to see him very often, only at the conventions. He's not here to my knowledge. I haven't seen him yet, but is that probably him by typing that, I bet? The bastard. No, Dan and I are great. And he runs this charity. He works with this charity called Gamers for Cures. It's really good, and Stronghold always sends some stuff and sponsors that because it's a really good one.
That's very cool. Can we get a picture together?
No. Yes.
Do you have a problem being on camera or something?
What's that?
Do you have a problem being camera?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I hate being on camera. Get over here. And I'm taking selfies with you guys too. Oh, just us now.
Can you get one in front of your booth? Yeah. Almost did it again. It's a long day.
Sure. Want to do it in front of the booth too?
Yeah.
Like this?
Yeah. I'm gonna give Josh my mic. Careful.
Hello, everyone.
Disconnect from everything this time. Alright, just gonna have to.
Gamers for Curside. Yeah, this has been great. Guys, back to work. See you at Career Camp. Have fun. We're actually going to sign off in a minute, I think. It's been a long, long day.
So going to my Twitter feed. Dates for the next couple hours. Thank you, seriously. That was great.
Right, thank you so much.
Thank you. Hope you don't mind. Great. Thank you, Josh. Appreciate you coming by.
Thank you.
Is it a kiss?
Okay, he does. Like I said, I don't care. I saw you guys running around with the cameras, and I stuck my head in at one point. I don't remember that. It was here or out there. I stuck my head in, and I'm like, I hope that they come around. He was like, we'd like to interview you, Twitch. I'm like, 2 women? Like, yeah. I'm like, oh, this is great. Oh, I'm happy about this. Thank you, guys. That was really good. Good interview. I'm serious. You really were.
It's better than I am a cameraman.
You're not used to being hooked up.
No, it's a lot. So thank you so much.
This is the first time thing.
That was great.
Thanks.